There's something sitting in your pantry right now that could be damaging your brain, and you probably bought it thinking it was harmless, maybe even helpful. A package of instant noodles, a can of soup, crackers, frozen meals, they're all so easy, convenient, and fast, especially when cooking feels like a chore. But after 60, our brains become more sensitive to what we eat, and some of the most common foods in modern kitchens are quietly speeding up mental decline. This isn't just about calories or weight gain, this is about memory, attention, mood, and long-term brain health. More and more research is pointing to one big culprit hiding in plain sight: ultra-processed foods. They're not just processed, they're engineered, chemically adjusted, flavored, and preserved in ways that your brain was never designed to handle. And if you're eating these foods daily, your brain might already be showing signs of inflammation, fatigue, or even mild cognitive impairment, and you might not even realize it yet. In this video, we're going to take you on a deep but easy-to-understand journey into how ultra-processed foods affect the aging brain. We'll reveal the hidden ingredients causing inflammation, the real science linking these foods to memory loss, and most importantly, what you can do today to start protecting your brain. Because even small changes in your diet after 60 can lead to powerful results in your memory, clarity, and peace of mind. Let's get started. So what exactly are ultra-processed foods? They're not just your average bread or cheese. These are foods that go through multiple stages of industrial processing, packed with additives, preservatives, emulsifiers, flavor enhancers, and artificial colors. Think of boxed breakfast cereals, frozen pizzas, snack cakes, deli meats, instant noodles, sugary drinks, and most fast food items. They often come in packages with long ingredient lists, many of which are hard to pronounce. And the goal of all this processing is not to nourish you, but to make food cheaper, more addictive, and last longer on the shelf. These foods are designed to hit the reward centers in your brain, giving you a quick feeling of satisfaction, but leaving you hungrier just a short time later. After the age of 60, your brain's resilience begins to decrease and its ability to recover from inflammation or nutrient imbalances slows down. So every time you eat one of these ultra-processed products, you're exposing your brain to chemical stressors it can't easily fight off. In fact, a study published in the journal Neurology in 2022 found that people who consumed more than 20% of their daily calories from ultra-processed foods had a 28% faster rate of cognitive decline. That's not just forgetting your keys, that's forgetting names, losing track of conversations, and eventually struggling with basic thinking skills. And the worst part is that many of these foods are marketed directly to older adults. Low-fat, heart-healthy, quick and easy, but loaded with sodium, artificial sweeteners, and trans fats. If you're living alone or cooking for one, it's easy to reach for something fast, but over time that convenience adds up, and your brain pays the price. So what exactly is happening inside your brain when you eat ultra-processed foods? That's what we'll explore next. Inside your brain, there's a delicate balance of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. They control everything from your mood, memory, to your ability to concentrate. When you eat ultra-processed foods, especially those high in refined carbs, artificial additives, and damaged fats, you disrupt this balance. Here's how it works. These foods spike your blood sugar very quickly, leading to a rapid insulin response. Your body floods your system with insulin to bring sugar levels back down, but if this happens too often, especially in older adults, it can lead to insulin resistance in the brain. That means your brain cells stop responding properly to insulin, and insulin isn't just for blood sugar, it also plays a vital role in memory formation. When insulin resistance sets in, your brain literally can't access the energy it needs, and this is strongly linked to cognitive decline and early dementia. Some researchers even call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes for this very reason. But it doesn't stop there. Ultra-processed foods are also loaded with pro-inflammatory ingredients. Things like trans fats, high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavorings, and preservatives. These compounds trigger inflammation in the body, and chronic, low-grade inflammation is a major driver of neurodegeneration. Your brain's immune cells, called microglia, normally protect your neurons. But when inflammation is constant, these microglia go into overdrive and start damaging healthy brain tissue. This can shrink parts of the brain involved in memory and decision-making, like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. And all of this can happen silently over years before the symptoms become obvious. You may start feeling more tired, more forgetful, struggling to find words, or losing motivation. It's easy to dismiss these as signs of aging, but the truth is, much of it is preventable, and food plays a key role. Coming up, let's look at the types of ultra-processed foods most commonly found in senior diets and how to spot them before they damage your brain. Many seniors don't realize just how often ultra-processed foods sneak into their daily meals. It's not just the obvious ones like frozen pizzas, packaged cookies, or fast food. Ultra-processed foods are hiding in places you'd never suspect, especially in the foods marketed as convenient or healthy for older adults. Take breakfast cereals. Many are loaded with refined grains, sugar, artificial flavors, and preservatives. Even those labeled as whole grain or heart healthy can contain over 20 ingredients, most of which your body doesn't recognize as real food. Microwavable meals are another common trap. They're quick, easy, and seem perfect for one-person portions. But read the label. You'll often find hydrogenated oils, sodium levels through the roof, and chemicals like monosodium glutamate or flavor enhancers that overstimulate the brain. Then there's deli meats, which many older adults rely on for quick protein. Sliced turkey, ham, salami, even the ones labeled natural are often pumped with nitrates, phosphates, and artificial preservatives. These chemicals not only harm your arteries, they cross the blood-brain barrier and interfere with your brain chemistry. Even seemingly innocent things like snack bars, diet yogurts, or sugar-free desserts are packed with artificial sweeteners, thickeners, and gums that feed the wrong bacteria in your gut. And here's why that matters. Your gut and brain are deeply connected. This is known as the gut-brain axis. When ultra-processed foods damage your gut lining or microbiome, it sends inflammatory signals directly to your brain. This can lead to increased anxiety, depression, mental fatigue, and long-term memory issues. So what can you do about it? The first step is awareness, learning to read labels and recognizing ingredient lists that are too long, too hard to pronounce, or full of numbers. The second step is choosing whole, minimally processed alternatives, and in the next section, we'll give you clear, practical substitutions for the most common ultra-processed foods, so you can protect your brain without giving up flavor or convenience. Let's talk about real solutions. You don't need to give up tasty food to protect your brain, but you do need to make smarter choices. Let's start with breakfast. Instead of sugary cereals, go for old-fashioned oats, cooked with cinnamon and fresh berries. It's warm, filling, and packed with antioxidants that support brain health. Skip the breakfast bars and try a boiled egg with half an avocado on whole grain toast. You'll get healthy fats, protein, and slow-digesting carbs that fuel your brain without spikes and crashes. When it comes to lunch meats, choose fresh roasted chicken breast, or cook a batch of turkey at home and slice it yourself. Add herbs like rosemary or turmeric when cooking. They have powerful anti-inflammatory effects on the brain. Instead of microwavable meals, try batch cooking stews or soups in a slow cooker over the weekend. Freeze small portions so you still get the same convenience, but with real ingredients you recognize. Now for snacks. Trade potato chips and flavored crackers for a handful of raw walnuts or roasted chickpeas. They're crunchy, satisfying, and loaded with brain-protecting compounds. And drinks. Soda and artificial juices are a disaster after 60. Try herbal teas like ginkgo or green tea, both known to improve brain circulation and mental clarity. If you crave sweetness, infuse your water with citrus slices or berries. It's about retraining your palate, not punishing it. Over time, your taste buds adapt, and you'll begin to prefer the natural sweetness and textures of real food. The key is consistency, not perfection. The more often you choose foods that support your brain, the more resilient your mind becomes against age decline. And every bite you take, every meal you choose, is an opportunity to build a sharper, stronger brain. Coming up, we'll explore exactly how ultra-processed foods increase your risk of dementia and what the science says about long-term damage in the aging brain. Now let's dig into what the science really says. The connection between ultra-processed foods and dementia is no longer just a theory, it's backed by research. A major study published in the journal Neurology followed over 72,000 people for more than a decade. What they found was alarming. Those who ate the most ultra-processed foods had a significantly higher risk of developing dementia, even when factors like education level, physical activity, and income were controlled. The risk wasn't just slightly higher, it was nearly 25% more. Why? Because ultra-processed foods are not just high in sugar and fat, they're also filled with substances that alter how your brain works. One big culprit is emulsifiers, chemicals that improve texture and shelf life, but disturb the balance of your gut bacteria. Your gut and your brain are connected, and when the gut becomes inflamed, it sends signals that can affect memory, mood, and learning. Another is acrylamide, a chemical formed when foods like potato chips or fries are cooked at high temperatures. Acrylamide is a neurotoxin, meaning it damages nerve cells, and it's been linked to increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Some processed meats also contain sodium nitrite, a preservative that can form nitrosamines in the body, compounds shown to cause DNA damage in brain tissue. Now combine this with the fact that many seniors already have reduced blood flow to the brain, and it's a perfect storm for cognitive decline. Every snack, every meal that includes these chemicals slowly chips away at your mental sharpness. And because these effects are slow and silent, most people never realize what's happening until they begin to forget names, misplace keys, or feel mentally foggy every day. But here's the powerful part. The same studies also found that replacing just 10% of your calories from ultra-processed food with real food like fruits, vegetables, legumes, or cooked grains lowered dementia risk dramatically. That means you don't need to be perfect. You just need to shift a little bit at a time. One less soda. One more bowl of fresh vegetables. One less microwave meal. One more homemade soup. This is brain protection in action. In our next section, we'll take you step by step through what to look for on nutrition labels so you can avoid the most dangerous ingredients. It's not always obvious what's in your food. That's why learning to read nutrition labels is one of the most powerful skills you can have after 60, because ultra-processed foods don't always come in bright, colorful packaging or fast food wrappers. Sometimes they're hidden in what looks like healthy options. A protein bar, a bowl of cereal, even a frozen healthy entree. Let's start with ingredient lists. If the label has more than 5 or 6 ingredients, and you don't recognize many of them, it's likely ultra-processed. Look for names like maltodextrin, carrageenan, artificial flavors, high fructose corn syrup, and hydrogenated oils. These are red flags. For example, maltodextrin can spike your blood sugar faster than table sugar. Carrageenan is linked to inflammation in the gut, which affects your brain through the gut-brain axis. And hydrogenated oils? They're full of trans fats, which clog blood flow to your brain. Another trick is to spot the order of ingredients. If sugar, corn syrup, or refined flour is listed in the first 3 items, that food will quickly spike your glucose and then crash your energy and mood. Also, beware of low-fat products. Many times when fat is removed, sugar and starches are added to compensate for taste. This trade-off does not help your brain. Instead, it promotes insulin resistance and inflammation. Now, what about the nutrition facts box? Pay attention to added sugars. Even if total sugar looks moderate, added sugars, which are the ones that cause harm, may be high. Look for hidden sweeteners like dextrose, glucose, fructose, or concentrated fruit juice. And sodium. Many ultra-processed foods contain more than 40% of your daily salt intake in one serving. This excess sodium can increase blood pressure, reduce blood flow to the brain, and trigger brain fog. So the key takeaway is this. If you can't pronounce it, if it sounds like it came from a chemistry lab, your brain probably doesn't want it. Real food is simple. An apple is an apple. Oats are oats. Beans are beans. But a product with 30 ingredients and 10 preservatives? That's not food. That's a formula. In the next section, we'll explore how these hidden ingredients may impact brain diseases like Alzheimer's and what you can do today to lower your risk. Let's talk about one of the most serious concerns when it comes to ultra-processed foods, the risk of Alzheimer's disease. You see, researchers have been following thousands of older adults for decades. And time and again, one pattern emerges. The more ultra-processed foods in someone's diet, the faster their cognitive decline. In a landmark study published in Neurology, scientists tracked over 10,000 people. They found that those who ate the most ultra-processed foods, more than 25% of their total daily calories, had a 28% faster rate of cognitive decline, and their memory, learning, and verbal fluency dropped much more sharply than those who ate fresh whole foods. Another study from Brazil followed adults over 60 for nearly a decade. Those who consumed ultra-processed foods daily were more than twice as likely to develop early signs of dementia. And this isn't just about memory. Ultra-processed foods are linked to depression, anxiety, and even brain shrinkage. Why? Because your brain is highly sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, inflammation, and nutrient deficiencies, all of which are triggered by these manufactured foods. Let's break this down. When you eat ultra-processed food, your blood sugar spikes rapidly, then crashes. This creates oxidative stress in your brain, a chemical imbalance that damages neurons. Next, your gut responds with inflammation, sending distress signals through the vagus nerve directly to your brain. And over time, this chronic inflammation alters how brain cells function, repair, and communicate. Even more concerning, imaging studies show that people who consume large amounts of ultra-processed foods often have reduced volume in the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. That's a direct structural change, not just symptoms. Now, this doesn't mean eating a frozen meal once a week will ruin your brain. But if processed foods dominate your diet, the risks accumulate. And what's even more dangerous? These changes are slow. You don't feel them overnight. You might just feel a little forgetful, or foggy, or tired after lunch. But 5, 10, 15 years down the line, these tiny daily habits can snowball into major cognitive decline. So if you want to protect your brain after 60, start by protecting what you eat every day. Coming up next, we'll show you smart, easy replacements you can use to avoid ultra-processed foods without giving up convenience or taste. So, what can you eat instead? If ultra-processed foods are harming your brain, what are the easy, everyday foods that actually help protect it? First, let's be realistic. After 60, no one wants to spend hours in the kitchen every day. You want food that's quick, affordable, and still good for your health. So here's the good news. You can swap out ultra-processed foods without sacrificing convenience or flavor. Let's start with breakfast. Instead of sugary cereal or toaster pastries, try overnight oats with chia seeds, a handful of berries, and a drizzle of raw honey or cinnamon. You'll get fiber, antioxidants, and brain-friendly polyphenols, all without the sugar crash. Need a quick lunch? Skip the processed deli meats and microwave meals. Try a whole grain wrap with grilled chicken or tuna, some fresh spinach, olive oil, and a slice of avocado. It takes under 10 minutes to make and fuels your brain with protein, healthy fats, and essential B vitamins. Now for snacks. Instead of chips or packaged cookies, go for air-popped popcorn, roasted almonds, or Greek yogurt with flax seeds. These satisfy cravings, stabilize blood sugar, and support brain cell repair. What about dinner? Replace frozen dinners and boxed pasta with simple meals like wild-caught salmon, sautéed greens, and sweet potatoes. Or a lentil stew with turmeric and garlic, both powerful anti-inflammatory spices. You don't need to go full gourmet. Just aim to eat food that looks like it came from the earth, not a factory. When shopping, read the label. If it has more than 5 ingredients or lists things you can't pronounce, it's likely ultra-processed. Another tip? Cook in batches. Make soups, grain bowls, or frittatas you can refrigerate and reheat during the week. It saves time, reduces stress, and ensures your meals nourish your brain instead of harming it. And don't forget hydration. Instead of sugary drinks, try lemon water, herbal teas, or just plain water with cucumber slices. It refreshes you, supports circulation, and reduces brain fog. Even small changes, just one swap a day, can begin to reverse years of damage. Your brain is adaptable, it's capable of healing, but it needs the right fuel. So treat every bite as an investment, not just in your body, but in your memory, your focus, your clarity. In the next and final section, we'll give you a 3-step plan to take control of your brain health starting today. Now that you know the dangers of ultra-processed foods and the powerful alternatives available, what can you do next? It's time to take action, but don't worry, you don't need to change everything at once. Here's a simple 3-step plan to start protecting your brain today. Step 1. Awareness. For the next 3 days, don't change what you eat, just observe it. Write down or take photos of every meal and snack. Then circle anything that comes in a box, bag, or package with a long list of ingredients. Chances are you'll be surprised at how often ultra-processed foods show up. This awareness alone can shift your choices. Step 2. One swap at a time. Choose one ultra-processed food you eat often. Maybe it's sugary yogurt, frozen pizza, or flavored crackers. Then swap it for something better, like plain Greek yogurt with honey, a homemade veggie wrap, or raw nuts and cheese. Start with one. Then in a week, swap another. Step 3. Brain grossed list. Next time you shop, build your list with foods that nourish your brain. Leafy greens, berries, salmon, walnuts, eggs, lentils, turmeric, olive oil, and avoid items with refined flour, artificial additives, trans fats, and added sugars. Make it easy by shopping mostly on the outer edges of the grocery store. That's where real food lives. And if cooking is hard, remember, simple is best. A boiled egg, a banana, a handful of almonds, a cup of herbal tea. Each small habit adds up. Because your brain, even at 60, 70, or 80, is still growing, still adapting, still capable of strength and clarity, the longer you avoid ultra-processed foods, the better your memory, your focus, and your mood can become. This is your moment to take control of your plate, to take back your clarity, to eat for a sharper mind and a brighter tomorrow. If this video helped you understand what ultra-processed foods are really doing to your brain, please share it with a friend or loved one. Leave a comment below. What food will you start replacing first? And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Care for more videos just like this, easy to follow, science-based, and made for your brain after 60. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your mind.